Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Christmas time for a power lifter. Today I finished my mock meet, which is the capper on a 7-month Juggernaut AI training program. It feels like I've been using this app forever. Today we're gonna go over how the mock meet went. We're gonna talk about my mindset in each lift, if I hit some PRs, if I didn't hit some PRs, and then we're gonna discuss my training going forward. Without any further ado, let's talk about squat. Now this morning when I woke up, I was chomping at the bit to get going. I got into the gym around 10 a.m., excited to get into my first couple of lifts of the day. My squat has been feeling a little rough in training towards my peaking phase. My heaviest attempt was 495, which I hit, but it was kind of an RPE 9, maybe even a 10. So going in, I recalculated my attempts down to my first attempt being 475, which I hit, but the adrenaline was up. The energy was up in the gym. I feel like I haven't competed in years. And even when I did compete, it was never sanctioned stuff. So having this moment of I'm trying to get as close to a competition as possible, here's what the energy may feel like. And even on the day when I have a crowd in front of me and there's a lot more jazz going on, I might even be more amped. And I just think I didn't deal with the adrenaline very well. I didn't give myself a time to settle. I just dive bombed the hole, and then I kind of got caught in the middle. Mentality going forward after a successful first attempt was, let's make a jump. Let's try and get up to around 495, 500. I think we can hit it, but we'll see what happens. So we got the bar loaded, and 495 was my next attempt. And off the bat, unracking, I bounced off the rack. I felt a little bit unstable. So I took a little bit more time before I hit this lift, made sure my brace was on point, and even still, it was a grind and we ended up missing that attempt. So rather than go for a third attempt, I just called it there with a successful attempt of 475. I wanna talk a little bit about mindset because failing in the squat, first and foremost, and knowing you've got 2 more lifts, it can be really easy to get down on yourself. And I would not allow myself to do that today. I came in and I understood that the context of this meet is one in which I have lost 70 pounds of body weight over this training cycle. I have changed my leverages to the point where I don't even feel like I know how to squat anymore. So I said, listen, excellent that I hit 475. I've hit 495 before. We missed today. No harm, no foul. I am going to get so much better for my actual competition in September. It's not even going to be close. I'm going to be blowing these numbers out of the water. We're just going to move on to bench, not allowing myself to get down. And that's the mentality that you have to have in the face of failure. When you miss a lift, when you miss a certain amount of reps, you have to take that information as data and then brush those feelings off. It is just an opportunity to get better, which is the way that I'm looking at this whole meet, because as you'll see, bench went a little suspect as well. So things were not perfect today, but I'm so incredibly excited about where I can go from here. It's the best that I have ever felt in a subpar performance in my entire life. And I think that a lot of that is mindset and just understanding that this is data. We know where we are right now, and I've got a couple of months to get even better before my next meet. So with squats out of the way, we move to bench. Now, I don't know where my head was, but I didn't film the majority of my bench press attempts, so I'm just gonna talk you through them. First attempt was 310, and it moved really, really fast. Like I'm talking, felt like a 6.5, 7. The guys that were with me and spotting me were like, dude, 340's in the tank today, and I felt really, really good. I've been dealing with some rear delt issues, but I rehabbed that really well. I didn't have any pain today. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's push it. So my next attempt was 325. This attempt felt really, really good, especially right off the chest. It felt like I was moving really fast. And I think that maybe psyched me out a little bit because I misgroove here completely. And my elbow gets kind of too far away from the bar and I got a little bit of a twinge of pain. As you can see here, I'm kind of holding it, kind of working it out a little bit. So again, another failed attempt on attempt number 2. And because the elbow gave out, we called it there and we moved on to deadlift. But with the bench, again, it feels like it's there. It's just getting more used to the way that my new quote unquote body is going to work and how my new leverages are going to be at this new body weight. I need a training cycle where I'm just at a maintenance phase, and I'm excited for the next training cycle because that's where my nutrition is going to be. The first attempt being 310, where my all-time max before this was 320, moving like a 6 or a 7, gave me so much confidence going forward. 340 is going to be there when I go for it next. I really believe that, and I think that if I can continue to train and understand how my body is going to move, it's going to be right there for me. It's now just getting used to this new body. With bench out of the way, it was was time to move on to the deadlift. And if you have been following this channel at all during my Juggernaut AI training cycle, you know that deadlift has been a main focus for me because I don't really train the deadlift. I hadn't trained the deadlift in a long time because of my hip issues. And I recently switched to a sumo stance. So trying to find the groove of the technique was something that I was really working on. So I was excited to see how much weight I really put on my deadlift. So we took it pretty conservatively with the first attempt and it moved really well. Feeling really good, technique was there, it was on point. So we took another big jump and again, moved really well. So we decided to go for 500 on the deadlift, which would be an all-time PR regardless of body weight. And I was psyched. It was something that I really wanted to hit. With the other two lifts not going as well as I hoped for, I wanted to get out of the gym with something that I could really pat myself on the back with and say, you know what? We've got a good plan in place for squat. We've got a good plan in place for bench, and deadlift is looking really good. So we went for the lift. Again, set my hips pretty well, pulled it. It was a little bit of a struggle, but we made it. We locked it out. And you can see here, I'm super, super hyped. I'm jumping around the gym. That's the beauty of training in a powerlifting gym is you got some people to hype you up, to talk to as you hit a massive PR. So that was something that was really cool. It felt like the fruits of my labor through this whole 7-month journey of trying to get my deadlift on track really came into fruition. Something that I was super excited to leave the gym today with under my belt. You know, I hit a deadlift PR. Let's roll with it, and we're just gonna get better on the other two lifts. So speaking of getting better, unfortunately, this is going to be the end of my journey with Juggernaut AI. It has been fantastic. I have really enjoyed using the app. I really like the way that it programmed for me. And unfortunately, I feel like it never really got a fair shake because I was in a calorie deficit the whole time that I was using it. So I really wasn't able to put on the massive numbers that I was hoping for. But it was still a solid training app. I loved the AI features. I loved the check-in features. But for me personally, I am competing again in September. I have hired a coach, someone to be kind of boots on the ground with me as I go through this journey and someone that can handle me on the day of the actual competition. Something that I felt like I really needed is that extra push, someone to bounce ideas off of as a strength coach myself. Being able to discuss our programming together is going to be really helpful. But it is kind of bittersweet because the Juggernaut AI app has been a lot of fun. It's been a great training tool. I know I've talked about it a ton on this channel. We are still going to keep training vlogs as a staple video on this channel, but it will be more individualized, coached programs from me. Just something that I need right now personally to really help me reach that next level because my goal is to compete in this meet in September. It's September 24th, and to not only compete, but to qualify for USPA Nationals next June. That is the goal. I'm putting it out there into the ether so that you guys can keep me accountable, so that I have this as a memory for when I do qualify for it. And then it'll be fun because we'll be able to take you through the training journey all the way up into Nationals. So that's kind of the future of this channel. I'm excited to continue to train, and now to train at a maintenance level and maybe even a bulk level to really see how much better I can get. Just because my Juggernaut AI journey has come to an end does not mean that yours has to end as well. If you want to learn more about the ins and outs of the app, you can click this video right here where I go over an introduction to the program. As always, friends, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Get strong and stay strong. Peace.